Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie.
Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the County of Chautauqua Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. For more information on how the CCIDA can assist your business, visit choosechq.com.
From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives.
Is getting vaccinated on your to-do list? We can help you check it off, because we make getting vaccinated easy. You've got this, because we've got you. To learn more, visit yougotthis.usaging.org.
From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
You guys give me whiplash when you do that. Good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels. Hope you're all doing well. And what a beautiful sunrise it was. It was a true Chautauqua sunrise, Justin. How are things in Jamestown? Got a lot of snow? Cold. Oh, there it is. It's cold. Look at that, 17 degrees out in Lake. Jeff popped that picture up this morning that he took out there with the guys fishing. You ever ice fish? I did a few times. I'm good with summer fishing. It sure is cold out there. All right, well, I hope you're all doing well. And Jeff, thanks for that shot. We like to present different pictures throughout the year of what's going on in Chautauqua County. But I guess the lake is frozen, so they're out there. But please make sure you check the flags. They'll tell you whether you can get out there on the ice or not. Good morning to wherever you are in the world today. Good afternoon to all my friends in the Ukraine. People from Ukraine actually watch this show. Natalia and friends. James, if you're in Kenya right now watching us, good morning, or good afternoon. My cousins in the Netherlands and over in Belgium, I know you pop in from time to time, and anywhere you are in the United States. We're glad you're checking in. Good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. Thanks for joining us. We were just talking about how Dennis Drew and I put together this agreement, and we are so blessed to be able to share good stuff for the county on the radio every single week. So you can hear us Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, so thanks for that. I want to keep everybody's mind in the fact that we are live, and if we are live, you can call in. We have a terrific show. We're going to be taking a look at the history of transportation here in Chautauqua County. It's going to take you back 100 years at least, and how people got around back in the turn of the century. And my guests are anxiously awaiting to get on. We're going to get to them here in a few minutes, but it's going to be a lot of fun, so I encourage you to stay tuned. If you can't watch this live, you can watch us on YouTube or check us out on Facebook. And remember, ChautauquaSunrise.com is now our own website, and you can go back and look at all our past shows. This will be 545. All 545 shows will be on that website, so you can always go back and look at it like a reference. I know, Jeff, you had that posted there, so let me go back to it. If you do have a question for my guest today or have an announcement, 716-753-5225. And I think you're going to be really interested and you may have a question and want to know more about what we're going to be talking about today. Throughout the week, if your clever organization has an announcement and an activity, email us at Chautauqua Sunrise, all one word, @gmail.com. And we'll be happy to get it on the air for you, free of charge. Okay? So let's keep on going. The weather today is very nippy out there. It's about 17 degrees here in Mayville. There's a lot more snow here than there is in Ripley. Maybe we have about 5 inches, and it looked like it was close to a foot. You said you got some snow in Jamestown? Mm-hmm. Not as much as here, though, right? Or more?
About 6 inches.
About 6 inches, okay. It just depends. I understand up in the hills, they really got a lot of snow. Boy, out west, oh boy, between the fires in LA, horrible. And then all the snowstorms. I talked to my wife's cousin in Dallas, and they were having a horrible time. They got 2 inches of snow. They didn't know what to do. They shut down schools and everything. I go, oh my gosh, how are you managing with 2 inches of snow? Out in those states, they don't have snow plows and all that stuff like we do. So, when they get this occasional snowfall, it really throws them. All right, driving in today, the main roads were pretty good, but I know back in the hills where I was coming through, it's a little dicey. So just take your time, plan ahead like always, and put in 4-wheel drive if you can. Okay, so I am going to get right to our announcements. Other than the fact is I do want to put your attention back to that today is Wear Blue Day, so I got some blue on, and that is to remind folks that we are talking about putting your attention on human trafficking that we talked about last week, okay? So this is the month for human trafficking awareness, and if you didn't see the show last week, you can go back and have a look. All right, let's get to our announcements right now. Open Doors Open, I should say it's called, January 25 coming up. All right, I'll do my best to read this. The perennially popular, they always throw a long word in there for me, Doors Open Jamestown is back January 25 from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday. You can visit numerous local attractions and businesses free of charge and play their online quiz game to be entered in a prize drawing. Doors Open Jamestown is a free admission day at local museums and attractions. It's designed to let area residents see our community as visitors often see us, and is purposely held at what would normally be a slow time of the year for museums and attractions. Taking part this year, here we go, here's the list. Audubon Community Nature Center, the Chautauqua Sports Hall of Fame, Chautauqua Youth Symphony, Fenton History Center, Infinity Visual and Performing Arts, Integrity First, Inc., the Jamestown Jackals, Lucille M. Wright Museum, the Lucille Ball Desi Arnaz Museum, Lucille Ball Little Theater of Jamestown, the Martz Cole Observatory, Marvin Community House, the National Comedy Center, the Northwest Arena Partridge Sheldon House by Jamestown DAR, the Pearl City Clay House, Reginald A. Center for the Arts, the Robert H. Jackson Center, and the Roger Torrey Peterson Institute. Those marked with asterisks, and you'll have to check it online, you got to have pre-registration. So like, I'm not sure which one's which. Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, you got to let them know ahead of time. Yeah, at least that one anyways. Okay, so the Comedy Center, thanks Jeff. So a number of local businesses are also signed up to participate this year. They are Four Below, Haggie's Bar and Grill, Art Cloth and Craft, Biodome Project, Brazil Craft Beer and Wine Lounge, and Brajota's Farmlands Produce, the Hotspot Cafe, James Prendergast Library, the Labyrinth Press Company, and Sukayana Berman Dance. Woo! To play the game, just go to CHQ Chamber, all one word, chqchamber.org, and sign up, and maybe you win a prize. All right, let's go to slide 15, Jeff. Let's see what's going on at the Reg Lene. Okay, reuniting the director, writer, and stars of Forrest Gump, here is an original film about multiple families and a special place they inhabit. The story travels through generations, capturing the most relatable of human experiences. Oh boy, Robert Zemeckis, I can't say his name, who framed Roger Rabbit. He was in Contact, Back to the Future, and so forth, directs from a screenplay by Eric Roth. and told in much the same style of acclaimed graphic novel by Richard Maguire, on which it is based. Tom Hanks and Robin Wright star in the tale of love, loss, laughter, and life, all of which happen right here. The name of the show is Here. It's going to be aired January 17th, Friday at 7 p.m. at the Reginald Ice Theater. $8 per admission at the slow down. $8 per admission at box office or $10 online. Okay? Usually they give me a phone number. I don't see it. Anyways, that's happening. Oh, 484-7070. Okay? Also at the Reg is something called Conclave. The Golden Globe winner, Best Screenplay, Peter Strahan, Golden Globe nominee, Best Motion Picture, Drama, Best Actor, all kinds of accolades. Conclave follows one of the world's most secretive and ancient events, selecting the new Pope. Cardinal Lawrence is tasked with running this covert process after the unexpected death of the beloved Pope. Once the Catholic Church's most powerful leaders have gathered from around the world and are locked together in the Vatican halls, Lawrence uncovers a trail of deep secrets left in the dead Pope's wake, secrets which would shake the foundations of the Church. All right, so that's called Conclave, and that's going to be held and shown January 17th, 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock. And once again, if you're interested, tickets are 484-7070. All right, we have gotten used to over the years of having a winter festival in Mayville, but for a variety of reasons, the Mayville Winter Festival is canceled this year following ongoing conversations over the past several months and a thorough review of the planning committee, and the decision was reached to cancel the festival based largely on dramatically increased expenses and increasing challenges around the hands-on support required to mount an event this magnitude. And so hopefully maybe they'll be able to get it together next year, but just for your information, usually it's...
I think there's some information that there's another group trying to take it over this year.
Okay, well, if we have new information, we'll share that. And usually it's on President's Day weekend, right? So we'll see what comes up. All right, and then we got some other upcoming events. Let's see what we got. The Jamestown Jackals, okay, are in their 10th season, represent more than a professional basketball team. The Jamestown Jackals are dedicated to bringing exciting, affordable, family-friendly entertainment to basketball fans in Jamestown and the surrounding communities. It's being held at Jamestown Community College, and you can see them on January 11th at 6 p.m. and on January 31 at 7 p.m. So that's of information. Then there's sleigh rides at Chautauqua, January 11th, the 12th, and the 18th, right there at the institution. Sleigh rides provided by State Line Draft Horse Club will run Saturdays and Sundays from January 4th to the 23rd, weather permitted. Rides start at 1 p.m., departing every half hour from the parking lot near the Chautauqua bookstore, with the last ride at 3 p.m. Tickets are only $5 for adults and $3 for children, available at the bookstore after 12 o'clock noon on each day of the ride. Wagons are uncovered, so you gotta bundle up. Bring a blanket, but that would be really pretty to take a nice sleigh ride through Chautauqua. It's just gorgeous there. Then, if you're interested, you like to ice skate? You ice skate, Justin? Did you ever ice skate? I used to be pretty good. January 11, 12, 18, and 19, okay, from, let's see, Saturday from 3:30 to 6, and on Sundays 1:30 to 4. It's at the Northwest Arena at 319 West 3rd Street. Our family public skating events are the perfect way to spend quality time with the whole family or even come with friends. Adults can rent a trainer bar for the kids and grandchildren who are just learning to skate. And that's good. We didn't have those. We just crashed and got up again. And may even choose to hold onto them themselves on this bar. Always check the schedule at northwestarena.com. They have a calendar there for the latest updates and schedule changes. Please check their other calendar listings for the ice bumper car schedule, which sounds like fun, which differs from the family skate schedule. Admission is $7, skate rental is $3, and if you want to use the skate rental bar, it's $5, and so on. So for little or no money, you can go out there and ice skate in safety and enjoy a family event. We're going to take a little breather right now because my guests have a lot to talk about today, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
I believe the cats can think like that. Okay, so that's, of course, if you're ever considering adopting a cat or a dog, check out your local rescue sites and so forth. And there's got lots of choices out there. Okay, today I want to just go back to what I was saying earlier in the show, is that we're going to be going back in history. We're going to talk about the way things were in all of our towns and villages, how people got around. You know, if you think about back in, 1800, people were getting around by horse and buggy and oxen, carts and things like that. And over time, things progressed. And we're going to be talking about a very special project here. And I want to welcome to the show Bob Johnston and Quentin Johnston. And we're going to be talking about trolleys. And that's not a topic a lot of people talk about, because a lot of people that are pretty young don't even know they even existed in our county at one time. So welcome to the show, Bob.
Oh, thank you.
So I saw an article in the paper, and I knew you because you're part of the Chautauqua Historical Society.
At one
right?
time I was.
Right.
I've since left the...
Well, anyways, I played for the galas for a
right.
number of years. Gosh, I don't even know how many times I played there at the McClure Mansion. And I always remember you were carrying food or moving things in the background. He was busy, always busy guy. And I was carrying equipment through those little narrow passageways.
I seem to remember trying to help you out a couple times when you were doing
absolutely.
that too. So
yeah, so
appreciate you making the effort to help out.
Yeah. So today we're going to focus on a special project that you've been involved with. But Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself. You grew up in Jamestown, you were telling me.
Yeah, I've lived pretty much in Jamestown all my life, except I went to college for 4 years at Brockport State, geology major. That qualified me for my position as supervisor with the Department of Public Works. Nothing to do with geology. And I was in charge of fixing traffic signals and pavement markings and parking meters, all that type of stuff. And you know, over the years, I started to develop a interest in local history, and from there it just escalated into different projects and thoughts and collections and all that type of thing.
It's pretty addicting.
It can be. You know, the more you learn, the more you want to understand, and go out and see some of the things and discover some of the things that appear. And,
right. I don't know if you feel this way, but you know, if you go to Europe, they preserve their history. Here,
thousands of years.
Thousands of years. Here, we pave it over, or we knock it down, and then it's relegated to maybe some newspaper articles, or somebody's got a picture in their family album or family Bible, and you got to go dig it and all that stuff. I mean, I'm the town historian in Ripley, and I find that to be true. People don't have any idea how cool Chautauqua County was over the years. I mean,
what I don't like seeing is a lot of the large Victorian type homes in Jamestown and other areas. They let them go.
Yeah.
And the history involved with the people that live there and how they were built is just amazing, in my opinion. But you know, nobody really seems to be able to do much for them anymore.
Yeah. So, and you brought somebody else with you today, Quentin Johnston. Good morning. So,
Good morning.
Quentin, tell us a little bit about yourself. You said you were local, but then you left and you came back. So, what's your story?
Right. I also grew up here. I also had an interest in history from a young age. My father was a history teacher at Faulkner Central School, so that probably rubbed off a bit. And especially the transportation system and the palmy days of Jamestown always interested me. The steamboat that was moldering away at the outlet when I was a kid was very much an inspiration to my interest in local history. I always wanted to build a model of it. I finally did. I volunteer at the Boat Museum in Bemis, the Lawson Center.
Yeah, I played there. I played everywhere, it seems. We did an open house years ago. Yeah. And so what did you do for a living?
I was a clock repairman, a clock restorationist, an antique dealer.
Oh, all right. So when you say clocks, we're talking about like small clocks or like industrial sized clocks, or all the above?
All the way up to
How'd you
tower
get into
clocks.
that? That's an interesting.
I started working for a clock shop on 2nd Street in Jamestown when I was in high school. The Clock Shop.
Oh yeah,
called.
They closed some years ago.
Many years ago.
I remember reading about
back
it.
in the 70s or maybe early 80s.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's interesting. You're the first clock person I've ever had on the show. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a restoration project, Bob. So tell us a little bit about that. We have some really cool slides, and if you want to call them up as we go along, I know you got a couple of videos. So let's take our time. We got plenty of time to do whatever we want to do here.
Well, I played basketball at the Y when I was younger, and my interest in local history, I got to talking to one of the guys down there, Sam Lucarello. I told him about my interest in local history, and he said his parents have an original trolley car on their property. So I said, road trip. Went up to check it out, and there was a slide showing how it looked. I don't know if it's going to come up right away, but how we first saw it.
Okay. So when he said he had a trolley car, why were you even interested in it?
Well, like I said, I was interested in local history. Like Quentin said, he liked the steamboats, and of course that was my first collecting interest when I was a kid.
So of course you start out with a trolley car, right?
Yeah.
So there it is. So tell us about why it was there, how it got there, anything you want to talk about there.
Well, the street railway went out of business in 1938, and the cars that they couldn't sell, they stripped all the metal off them, and they ended up going to different places. The majority of the cars, number 91 through 98, which trolley car number 93 was part of that, ended up being cottages at French's Cabins, right across from where Chautauqua Brick is, near Bemis Point.
I know where that is, sure.
And they had these big heavy gables built on top of them. They weren't really made to be left outside all the time. And when they decided to get rid of them and not use them anymore, a lot of these ended up out in the woods of DeWittville. And number 93 ended up being a hunting camp out at the end of Thumb Road. And this is a picture that actually shows the trolley after I took that big heavy gable off the top of it. And there's the trolley.
So the cable was what would actually energize the trolley? It was electrical? Is that how that worked?
Yeah, the trolley car, to be called a trolley, early on they were all street cars. The trolley car came along when the electricity came along, and there was a large pole out of the top of the trolley, and they actually had a little wheel at the end of the pole that would ride along a bare wire of electricity, and the electricity would come down through the wheel, down the pole, into the traction motor underneath the trolley.
So what was the era of the trolley?
Well, the first trolleys in Chautauqua County were out of Dunkirk and Fredonia, and it was 1866. It was like a Christmas baby, I guess you could say, December 25th of 1866, just after the Civil War. Jamestown didn't get into the act until almost 20 years later in 1884, and their first cars were horse-drawn cars. But by 1891, the first trolley cars in Chautauqua County were from Jamestown. And this slide kind of shows the first day of trolley operation in 1891. And a trolley car is a streetcar with a motor powered by electricity. That's basically the key thing. You see the pole sticking out of the top of this picture. And at the end of the pole, I don't know if you can make it out, but that's where the little wheel is.
Yep.
And later on, by 1926, they were having a hard time competing with buses and cars of the day, and so the Jamestown Street Railway made its last new car purchase. They purchased cars number 91 through 98, and they were set out to go up and down the busy streets of Jamestown. Specifically, they were called safety cars, and they had special brakes on. Jamestown had a lot of hills.
I know
and
that.
So number 93 was going up and down Willard Street.
Oh, okay.
And it was good that it was a safety car, even though there were times when the cars didn't quite travel as good as they could have. One of the stories I always heard was a bunch of kids used to sit at the bottom of the hill, and the trolley car couldn't stop to yell at them, and he would kind of curse the kids as they plugged them with snowballs going down Willard Street. That was always kind of funny.
So let's talk a little bit about a trolley car. So I saw in that picture, it looked like the inauguration day of the cars, and they were being presented in that year. Were they just a single car that worked by itself, or were they were in tandem? How did that work?
Well, I mean, they could hook up to other cars, but for the most part, they were just individual cars. And by the time number 93 came around, they were just single-end trolleys, which meant all the controls were at one end. And at the end of the line, they either had to back up and go all the way back or go around a loop to turn around and head back the other way. And the iconic picture of trolley car number 93 is one that shows the conductor out and the, well, actually it was the operator out in front of the trolley at the turnaround where number 93 would head back towards the car barns.
So how many people could a car hold, you know?
Well, there were enough probably for, we had about 30 seats in the car.
Really?
So a couple of people in each seat. So
Hey, could they stand? I mean,
yeah, it was just like any type of public transportation nowadays.
No
There was
rules back
no
then.
rules whatsoever.
As many as could get in.
So, all right, so.
No seat belts, nothing.
Oh,
you
there
know,
we go, there's the seats, all right, so.
Yeah,
that's
we
fine.
had a contest, well, not a contest, but we seat sponsorship for a few $100s. You get your name on a plaque eventually if you sponsored a seat. And so each seat represents somebody making a donation to the trolley.
Very nice.
The brass handles, we got original brass handle from the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum, and Jamestown Bronze was nice enough to cast all new handles for us using that
Sweet.
as a pattern, and we put them all together. We got a new floor. We got pictures of the floor that we actually got a company that printed the color on the bottom of a clear vinyl commercial grade flooring, and that's what we used in the car.
Oh, there we go, okay.
Here we are putting the seats together. A lot of donations. Jamestown Steel Service, like I said, the Bronze Works. We had a nice upholsterer help us out, and just started all coming together. It was nice to get to a point and things where we started putting things back together instead of tearing them apart.
All right, let's roll the tape back a little bit. Okay, we got from out there in the woods to restoration. So, first of all, you said you took the cable off. So what do you know about that?
Well, he said the gable.
Oh, the gable.
The gable was a roof structure that was built on the top of the.
I gotcha. Now.
There you go.
All right, so you
Yeah.
got this thing that's being used as a cabin,
Right?
and does it have wheels underneath?
No, they had pretty much, like I said, stripped all the metal
Well,
off
how the
it.
heck did you get it out of the woods?
Well, they loaded it up onto a. Well, we had actually. I was coming back from a seminar, and I stopped in Casadega. There's a scrapyard there, and they had a, they were doing that kind of big stuff. And I said, "You guys know anybody to help me get a trolley out of the woods?" And they gave me the name, this John Brewer, and I contacted him. He said, "You get me a mobile home axle, wheels, tires, and I'll make you a little trailer. We'll jack that thing up, get the trailer underneath, and bring it back to Jamestown for you."
What year was this?
This was around 1996. And we do have a video that shows us getting the trolley out of the woods. That'd probably be the first video if you want to bring that up.
All right.
But that was quite an exciting day. We went up there and jacked the trolley up, slid the trailer underneath it, attached the two things together, and
Wait,
out onto
were
the
you
main
there?
road.
I was not there.
You were
yet.
there.
Quentin
No.
hadn't shown up for quite some
I
time.
was a real Johnny-come-lately to the project. All the dirty work had been done by the time I
That's the
arrived.
best way to go.
Yeah, but like I said, there is a video. If you can bring up that
Okay.
video, it'd be kind of, there we
There
go.
we go. All right, so we'll sit back and have a little look then. Is that a video? Oh, there we
A
go.
little bit higher on the tow truck, and they're hoping it will pick it up.
Yeah, here
along
we are.
the front
It's
of
on the trailer now, but we
trailer doesn't go
having trouble because it's in sort of a muck hole there.
Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to lift it up, and pretty soon you'll see us coming out of the hunting camp road. I spent probably a good week and a half cutting down trees
Oh my
to
God.
open up the hunting camp road again because it was obviously
There
all
you
over the
go.
ground. Here we are coming out onto Thumb Road. You can see it was definitely a good candidate for restoration. I know some
Very
people
sketch.
see these videos now. We probably should have left it right where it was. Here we are coming out on the main road near DeWittville. And as we're doing that, we're kind of shedding parts as we go. If you look at it, we're kind of, things are dropping off the bottom there. But we did make it to Jamestown. And for me, it was a big deal.
Of course, of course.
And I wanted to video us actually coming into the city. It had been, decades since the trolley cars have been in operation, probably 1938. So here we are coming into the city of Jamestown, and that should pretty much end the video, I think.
Okay.
So trolley car back to Jamestown. That was a momentous occasion, as I said in the video.
Oh yeah. So you, you get this guy to.
Yeah, it is laughable in some cases. Yeah.
Well, no, this is something I would have done. This is
Uh-huh.
something I would have done with like a little Ford Fiesta, like a
Okay.
little. I mean, I got a bad history.
You got to give him credit, for
Absolutely, you had a vision for sure.
Yeah.
Well, it was a little bit I don't know. I was ambitious to do something like that. I figured I'd like to save it, and I contacted the people that own the property, and I talked to Mrs. Lucarello, and she says, as long as you put a plaque in the car commemorating my husband that you donated it. And I figured it was a community project. I don't consider this my own trolley, even though, technically I'm in control of it. So they said, yeah, if you want the trolley, you come and get it. Just put the plaque in, and I did that and dragged the trolley out of there. And it took me quite a few years to get it together. Finally, I got a call. We were in the bus garage in Jamestown. I finally got a call from Lee Harkness, who is the guy in charge of the Gateway train station. And he said, Bob, why don't you bring the trolley over here and we'll see if we can get it restored.
Where was it to begin with?
It was in the, we stored it in the bus garage in Jamestown. The JARTS bus system had kind of gone out of business.
Oh, okay.
The city was taking over the bus garage. I was a supervisor at the time, and knowing that it was a community project, they were happy with me leaving it in there. And
at my house, it would have been at my house in my garage. It was me.
Well, but we left, we got the call from Lee, and we ended up at the train station. And that's where I first met Jim. Well, it wasn't the first time I met Jim Michener. Jim ended up being the woodworker extraordinaire, and it was his woodworking abilities and his work ethic that pretty much made this whole project happen. I was just along for the ride, along with Quentin here.
All right, hang on. We got a phone call, so let's take a caller and see what they want. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Doc. It's Mike Felsman. How are you?
Mike from Portland.
Yeah. I have a question for our guest this morning.
Excellent. Go for it.
I was listening to their presentation on the trolley car. In fact, I just heard him say something about the JART system going out and carts coming in. I remember that because I worked for Chautauqua County. I didn't work for that department, but I remember having a little project to do with that in my regular job. But anyways, that's an aside. You had talked about trolleys coming in, and I didn't know if I catched all the dates, so I won't try to guess. But he mentioned streetcars. Now, if I understood right, streetcars precluded trolleys, and how... Now, the trolleys were run by apparently an overhead electric wire, so it seems. How did the streetcars run?
Yeah, the streetcars, all trolleys are streetcars, but not all streetcars are trolleys, something like that.
Yeah.
You had to have an electric trolley to make a trolley car run. So a trolley is a streetcar. We had slides showing the early streetcars, and they were horse-drawn.
Oh my goodness.
So we had pictures of the Dunkirk-Fredonia horse-drawn streetcars and the Jamestown streetcars. Actually, the first rider on the Jamestown streetcar was ex-Governor Reuben Fenton. He was the Civil War governor of New York State. But we had pictures of, and the story about that first ride was the streetcar actually, here's a picture of it now, Governor Fenton's in the middle of that. The streetcar actually jumped off the track. It ran over a little stone or something, and the guys got out and picked the trolley up and put it back on the track. That was the...
Oh my goodness.
But streetcars were horse-drawn back then.
I know you said something about the trolleys came with the advent of electricity.
Right.
And that,
well, electricity had been around for a little while, but yeah, by 1891, the horses were kind of a tough thing, especially on the steep streets of Jamestown. And the electric trolley car was certainly a welcome change to the way things were done.
I would think so. All right, so electricity came through Dunkirk and Jamestown around when, perhaps?
Well, both Jamestown and Dunkirk-Fredonia started the electrification of trolley lines around 1891.
Okay.
Jamestown beat Dunkirk out this time by just a few months.
Right.
But, so
No competition
They
there.
have the title of being the first trolley cars in the county, or like I said, the Fredonia-Dunkirk line was the horse-drawn line, and it was the first streetcar line in Chautauqua County.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the information. I'll let you get back to the show.
All right, thanks
for the
Mike.
call.
Take
All
care.
right. Bye now.
Bye-bye. So, are there other trolley cars hidden in the woods in Chautauqua County?
Well, I always tout this as being the only remaining streetcar. I did have a graphic showing all the different cars that were here, and there are hundreds of them basically, and pretty much number 93 is the last one, which you think of all the cars and all the stories, all the people that lived on it and did things. That's why we went up with Marge Warner. That's another video I have here. She when we were working on the mahogany inside the trolley, we came across the name Wink that had been carved onto the windowsill in the back. And when we had a chance to talk to Marge Warner, who called me up one day and said, I want to see my trolley. And I said, your trolley? I said, I've never seen you working on the car. You know, Quentin never saw you or heard of you. And she said, I'd like to see it. So we had Marge, if you bring up that video, she talking about her experiences on the trolley car. And she remembers the guy who had whittled his name on the thing. His name was Wink. And in the video, Marge talks about Wink and how she knew him and what she thought about him. So like I said, if you can bring that video up, it'd be nice.
There she is. All right.
Here we go. Here's Marge Warner. She's probably in her 90s now.
I'm Marge Warner, and I live in Austin, Texas right now. But I wanted to see my old streetcar. I'm real happy about it.
Where'd you live on Sweet Hill there?
I lived at then I moved to 337 Willard. First I lived on Vega. And then when I got married, I lived on Willard Street. And
you used to take the trolley, right?
Yep. I took the trolley every morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay, and it could have been this trolley. You're not 100% sure though, but it was. You were born in 1921. 100%. So, and tell us about Wink, who carved his name into the back of the trolley here.
Well, all I can remember about him is he used to tease me when I was sitting on the trolley, and I didn't really like him. And I tried to avoid him, and I'd go sit in the back or something. But I guess he was a nice guy.
Okay. Well, listen, thank you very much for that. And now we know the story of a Wink who carved his initials in the back of the trolley.
Quentin, is Wink still in the trolley?
Yes.
So they
Jim carefully preserved Wink. So his initials are still, it's his name, but we don't know who Wink is.
Well, we called it the mahogany assembly line. We had every piece of mahogany, every piece of wood in the trolley was removed. All the screws were removed. We sanded it all down. We stained everything and recoated it, and then stuck them all back in. But we decided to leave Wink there because of a little local color. And I'm glad we did. It popped in my mind when I was talking to Marge. I said, did you ever know Wink? And she did. The whole situation was hilarious. And one of the pictures, the iconic picture of the trolley, there's a guy actually sitting back right where Wink was carved into the, and for all we know, that was Wink.
Might have been his seat. He claimed it.
Her trolley, his seat.
Yeah.
So what would be the cost to ride the trolley back then? I know you know these things.
Now, it was like a nickel or, it was fairly cheap. Depending on, you could buy a pass that would get you for a week or a month and things like that.
So she said she got the trolley at 8 o'clock in the morning. So people think, well, how did they work? They had schedules and they were organized just like today, right?
Right.
Pretty much.
That's right.
And so if you had, would you get a ticket or just drop your nickel in a box? How did that work?
No, there was a little coin box that was in there, and it was, got you in. But you could have a ticket also. They would punch your ticket, or you would just hand it to them for the day.
Indian head nickel in, right?
Yeah, that's right, or whatever. Yeah, they had tokens.
Yeah, and tokens.
They had tokens, actual tokens that you could buy.
Do you guys have, now, at the train station with this, do you have other things? I see you have some other items here.
Well, I have collected a lot of memorabilia over the years. Quentin's not so much into that part of it, but, it's we got a hat with the hat badge on it. You can kind of see it to the right of you there in the picture.
We'll do a little zoom in there.
There we go.
Justin's good at this. Here we go.
A lot of the hat badges and things like that I've managed to collect over the years.
This is original Jamestown?
Original Jamestown Street Railway hat badge.
Now, who would he be?
I didn't know. I actually have some records that have the trolley person's badge number and things like that, but over the years the badges kind of changed because the employees kind of changed. I have records that have some of the history of discipline, and it's always interesting when somebody calls, my great-grandfather used to run, and I can look him up in this little thing and find out he lost his job because he was in the bar too long or something like that. But
so the person wearing this hat was the driver or conductor, or who worked on these trolleys?
The conductor was the person that conducted business. He would take tickets and things like that. The motorman or the actual operator, he was the guy up front driving the thing. So
okay, so this was the conductor hat.
Yeah. Well, by Not necessarily. I think it says on there if it's. This was a conductor. He was conducting the business.
He's controlling the situation.
He was the one that would take the money.
Now
and
you
take
have
the
this
tickets.
very tall-looking cylinder here.
Yeah.
Are those other badges from other?
Right, these are all Jamestown Street Railway hat badges. I got really lucky. Well, there's a few JW line and a couple Chautauqua Traction line.
When
Those
you
are
said
the
JW,
three.
What's JW?
JW is Jamestown, Westfield, and Northwestern. There were 5 major lines in the county, and the 3 that kind of went in and out of Jamestown, 2 of them went as far as Mayville, up towards Westfield and Barcelona. And so these, just kind of nice to pick up this memorabilia. And this is my personal collection right now. Eventually, we're hoping to build a trolley building, storage building, and possibly on Fenton History Center's property, and that's where the trolley will be and all this memorabilia.
Okay, so for those listening on the radio right now, they popped up a map of the trolley system, I guess.
Right.
What are we looking at, Bob?
Well, I had a bunch of these for the different lines that were in Chautauqua County. The Jamestown, Westfield, and Northwestern Railroad Company was the last trolley line in the county, and you could take the trolley from 1913 up to 1947. You could ride a trolley up the Midway Park side of the lake. You can see that going from Jamestown all the way to Westfield. My father actually rode on that line when he was in the military. He was in training down in San Antonio, and that's he took the trolley to get up to the train in Westfield to get down to Texas.
So that would be the east side of the lake or north side of the lake? I don't know.
Oh, it'd be
Yes.
It would be the east side of the lake.
Okay.
Or like I said, the Bemis Point, Midway Park side of the lake. But the other line, the Chautauqua Traction line, which also went through Mayville, was on the south side, or the other side of the lake there, the west side of the lake, went from Jamestown all the way up to Barcelona.
Okay, so if you were going from Jamestown to Mayville or whatever, there would be tracks, and then these overhead wires?
That's right.
That's a lot of infrastructure.
That's right.
there was.
That's right. But they had crews that could knock that stuff relatively quickly, and they put their mind to it. They had all this done within the summer. A lot of it.
Quentin, you were telling me before the show that you guys like go all over the place searching for this stuff. Where are there? Any
Well,
remnants?
Bob and I do that too.
Oh, it's a team. So
I drag them along.
Where can you see any of these remnants of the track or anything?
Well, the JWNW was built as a railroad first, and there's quite a lot of that road bed here and there. There's not a lot you can walk on anymore. There's a bit of it in the 100-acre lot, in fact. Bob could help you better.
I got charged with doing a talk for the Warren County Historical Society, and Quentin and I, we went along the right-of-way for that line, which also went from Jamestown to Frewsburg, Fentonville, into Pennsylvania.
Holy cow.
And we went along the right-of-way. We actually found one of the little trolley stops there in Russell, so I used that for my talk. And when I did the talk, I also heard about a trestle bridge that went across a part of the Conewango down there, and Quentin and I went into the woods exploring that. He'd been down that way before. We found all the little support bases.
Concrete piers
Right.
for
Sure.
the legs of the
And
bridge.
we all drive down the roads and we see those things, but we don't know what they are, right?
Well, they wanted, there was a railroad as well that went parallel to it, the one that went from Dunkirk to the DAV and
so these could be right next to each other at any given point in time.
Yep,
Whoa.
and they wouldn't let them cross over, so they had to, at this point, they went over it. In Frewsburg, there's a point where they went under it, and there's still sort of a ditch beside the road there. That's back on Railroad Avenue. But again, it's boring. You have to be into this stuff.
There is a story about
nothing there.
The only way they could get under the track through the tunnel was they had to disconnect from the power. And so they tried to get up enough speed to coast underneath and go to the other side. Well, a lot of times this depression would fill with water. And there are stories of people that got stuck underneath the tracks. You imagine in the middle of the night, a train going over the top of you in this muck hole underneath the
And try to explain that to your wife when you're trying to get home and say, I got stuck under the bridge. You go, sure you did. How many beers have you had?
That's true.
Wow. So there was a question that came up. There were a car house that kept all these at one time?
These cars weren't meant to be outside all the time. There was car barns in Jamestown, and there was one in Mayville.
Okay.
And a lot of people, I don't know if the slides for that is here, but right down there where the kayaks are. That was a Chautauqua traction storage area and a substation for the power. And there was also a depot in Mayville that maybe some people aren't aware of because it was torn down. This is the Mayville depot. Actually, it was where the, I don't know, it's the Mayville Pharmacy or something like that at the corner of Lakeview and 430. But if you go back to the slide of the trolley there, a joke I always tell is, a lot of people don't realize this, and don't fact check me, but there's a woman there loading the trolley. If you go back, and
there it is,
I claim that at one time Mayville had the record for having the world's strongest woman. She's loading a load of something onto the trolley car there.
Right. And you know, in a lot of those little buildings, I know this for a fact, that some of those little buildings, much smaller, people have those for, little garages and sheds that they somehow got them and took them home.
Unfortunately, this one did not survive, but a lot of the ones of Shaney's Point, Asheville, Stowe, there are a lot of the...
right across from the general store in Asheville, yes.
Yeah, well, a lot of these buildings survived. They're still there. You can go check them out. And
near the grocery store?
Yeah,
the lighthouse.
Lighthouse Point is a Chautauqua traction depot. So they're still out there if you like to go and discover that stuff.
Way cool. And look at all the wires and the poles and things. I mean, this place must have looked like a big web of wiring throughout the county.
Well, that was one of the things. This car was getting ready to go off into the woods heading towards Westfield. And we attended a history fair once. And a guy came up to me and said, I found a couple of your trolley wheels out in the woods.
Oh my gosh.
And that's one of the trolley wheels they brought here. It's it's called a sleet wheel. And it actually was designed to chip the ice off of the wire.
Oh, wow.
And apparently when there was no sleet on the wire, you didn't want these things running your trolley, so they'd put the other one, a nice smooth one, back on there. But I'm just assuming they took these off one day when the ice had melted and threw them in the woods. And the guy said, I got a couple of those. If you want, I'll donate them to the project. And we were tickled to get them.
So people are watching right now, if they've got some oddball stuff and they think it might be related, should they give you a little call?
Well, I'm always interested in accumulating. Eventually it'll be in our little trolley building when we get it all built probably. And that's another thing. 1926 is when the number 93 was put in service. So we're looking at 2026 here, which would be the 100-year anniversary. And I'm hoping that through getting the word out that we'll have enough money. We have a couple of funds with the Community Foundation, and we have an endowment fund, and we also have a non-endowed fund, and that's the fund money goes into for, we got a big insurance bill coming up to have the trolley where we are right now. We're stored in Falconer. It's probably a $700 bill for liability insurance, which we pay every year so we can work on the trolley there and people can come and see it. So I invite, at the end of this, hopefully they show our contact information, but you can contact me if anybody interested in seeing the trolley or even wants to get involved with the project. It's pretty much Quentin and I now kind of rattling around doing this stuff, but there's my contact information. But I've we got a vintage book and paper show we do in Mayville every year. It's all the proceeds benefit the trolley car.
Great.
I got a couple books I've written that all the proceeds go to the trolley car. It's one on the beer bottles and beer and brewing in Chautauqua County. And here's the advertisement for the book and paper show. That's August 2nd.
I've actually gone to the movie. You used to have it over at Easton Hall, right?
Used to be at Easton Hall.
I've been there, yeah.
And it's a lot better facility now for us over at Chautauqua Suites. And $5 admission, and the kids under 12 get in for free because it's tough to promote history with young people nowadays.
So those are listening right now on the air. It's August 2nd.
Right.
At Chautauqua Suites right here in Mayville. Okay, great.
And like I said, I got a couple of books I've been involved with. One is also the history of the milk bottles in Chautauqua County and their stories by Alberta Onk. She gave me the authorization to update the book from time to time, and once again the proceeds from that, it's a $15 book. The beer book is a $25 book, but all the money goes to the Trolley Fund, which is with the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation on Spring Street in Jamestown. You can get a hold of me if you need information. You can go online to our website. There's a link you can go to donate to the Trolley Fund. And like I said, we're trying to raise money now. We're probably up I think we're up around 14 grand towards the building fund.
Great.
The endowment fund's well over $30,000. That's the
sweet.
one that's going to sustain the trolley and the building once we get it done.
Okay.
And
Catch your breath. We have another phone call.
Okay, that's
okay.
fine.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. Good morning, Tom.
Woo, there we go.
This is Linda Spalding. Good morning, Bob and Quentin. It's so great to see you on the show. I love history, and I certainly love trolleys.
Super.
So, and there's a lot of history in Chautauqua County.
Absolutely.
You were talking about that, and I know Devin Taylor and Chuck Kelsey are very active in what goes on involving history in Chautauqua County. In fact, a couple of books have been written, and they know quite a bit.
I know Devin quite well.
Yeah.
I've worked with him on a lot of things. We've shared information over the years, and Quentin was nice enough to take. Devin was nice enough to take Quentin and I on a walk along the JWNW right-of-way there from Westfield to Mayville. That was kind of a fun day. That's like I said, where the sleet wheels were found, not by us, but by somebody else. Yeah. You have a question or?
No, I just want to go to your event. I think it's wonderful what you're doing. You do know that Houdini stayed on Blanchard Street in Mayville with the Davenport brothers.
Well, there you go.
Well, I'm sure he made a ride on the trolley at one time or another.
Yeah, well, he came to challenge that they were doing a lot of these seances, and they were hoaxes and they were phony.
Oh, that's right. I've seen those. Yeah, he was.
So he challenged Lilydale. They were doing it at the time, and he wanted to go out and meet them, and that's why he came. And they canceled.
Well, you know that's
Lilydale canceled. I wonder why.
That's one of the things with the trolley. I mean, just can you imagine all the stories that could have been told by all the people that were on these lines? We just had one brief moment with Marge Warner there, but just all the people that day after day, year after year, decade after decade, and it just. We want to save one of them, and this is pretty much it. If we're going to save one of the trolleys.
I'm so happy you're doing that.
Right.
And I want to go to your event, and it's going to be at Chautauqua Suite, so that will be easy for me to get to.
Oh, that's great. And the trolley's available if anybody wants to come and see it. Just get a hold of me.
All right.
Oh, I would love to. I love trolleys. I love trolleys. I love trains.
All right,
well,
then.
Keep up the good work. Congratulations, and thank you. Oh, I wanted to mention before I hang up that I don't know if people know Guy Andriaccio. Who has been here for many, many years. He opened Andriacco's right here across from the institution. And I remember when I first came here, you couldn't get pizza. And I thought that was really abominable because I'm from Buffalo. And he started with pizza in a little restaurant where the mobile gas station was and expanded. He passed away on December 23rd, and his funeral is this morning at St. Mary's and at 11 o'clock. And I do want to mention Guy because he was not only such a wonderful Italian cook, but a very good man.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing it, Lynn. All right, well, as always, thanks for calling, and we'll talk to you again.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Stay warm.
Okay, you too. Quentin, let's find out what do you do there? Bob said he was bringing you because you were the painter. Is that, you're the painter?
I was the painter. I am the painter. I don't know where my confidence comes from, but I thought, I can paint this car. I had painted a few cars in my youth, automobile cars. And so they were at the point of, we're going to be painting this soon. And I brought in some very fine sandpaper and water and sanded carefully through the layers to discover what, the actual colors were.
And the colors are?
The colors are desert sand, slate gray, cream,
deep cream,
and something blue, right?
Oh, right there?
The blue was a surprise, and Bob never liked the blue. There was a whole contest that was conducted about selecting these paints. It was a real good trick that the paint company used, and he got the junior high schools to have a contest. They provided the paint, and they painted each one of the pre-existing cars in a different scheme selected by the junior high school students.
Oh, wow.
And then the community got to vote on it, and then they would paint these new cars, these 9 new cars, and the rest of the fleet in all of these colors.
So you're saying back then, way back then, the kids voted on the colors?
Right, 1926, before they got the new
gosh.
cars, they...
So every car was different.
And everything.
Yeah.
So what kind of paint do you need to use? This automotive? Or?
We used Imron automotive paint. It was very forgiving paint, actually. Went on well, covered well, dried fast. I had no problems with it. And my mantra is paint never fails to disappoint me. And this paint did not disappoint.
Well, good for you. All right, well, excellent. So what is the thing done now, paint-wise?
Yes.
Yeah. So Quentin also did the little emblem on the side there with gold leaf. If you go back to that picture, you can see...
Let's have a little look on that one more time, Jeff.
See the work he did.
You could just see the ghost of it under the subsequent paint layers that the campground had put on it.
Okay, so where's this emblem? On the front?
That JR, just
Jamestown Street Railway.
Just ahead of the tires.
Okay. Oh, I see it. There it is. Okay, super.
And we could see it in the old pictures too. So I did the lettering, what little lettering there is on the.
Well, guys, I know it seems hard to believe we're down to 3 minutes. So while we're talking, Jeff, why don't you just flash pictures, and Bob, you talk as much as you want.
Well, this particular one shows the trolley pole and the trolley base and the trolley catcher that we got, and it.
Trolley catcher?
Trolley catcher was actually, there was a rope tied to the trolley pole. And if for some reason the trolley pole came off the wire, there was it would just fly up into the air because there's nothing holding the trolley pole down.
Spring tension.
The catcher would grab it like a seatbelt. If you go fast on your seatbelt, it catches you. And that would keep the pole from flying up in the air. And this was something we needed to get. And fortunately, through the Pennsylvania Trolley Museum, we found a guy who was willing to sell one that he got as a kid as a kind of remembrance of his times on the trolley, and he sold it to us, and it was just the one we needed. This is a picture of Jim just before we started the trolley, and I had to go somewhere, and I said, here's the key to the building, Jim. Go ahead and start working on it, see what you can do. And I do have another slide that showed how the trolley looked when I came back, and the whole front of the trolley car was gone. He decided that he needed to replace some of the posts on the front, and that's what we did. These are, Jim would take some wood home every day and throw it in the pond. Our trolley roof got kind of some bad spots on it, and here we are trying to put it back together.
Wow.
And other pictures, canvas, we put canvas over the roof, and that was another story. Oh, here's a picture of all the posts that Jim replaced. Imagine coming back at my little trip there and seeing the entire front of the trolley gone. All the tin and everything. So it was, but like I said, we had a lot of people donate to this project. A lot of people donated their time. They donated their materials. Thousands of dollars set from the Jamestown Ironworks, and Steel Service, and Fancher Chair, Hanson Sign. I mean, there's a long list that you can see on the website, but so much of it was donated.
We're down to a minute here. Oh, there's all finished up.
Yeah.
Looks good. You guys look good there. Yeah. So moving forward, what are your next steps? Try to get a building?
We want to try to build a building. So we have a trolley building fund that you can donate to, and hope you can see the information on here one more time, contact information. It's all online. If you go to our website, jamestowntrolley.org, you can find out where you can donate or volunteer or whatever you want to do. And if you have any questions, give me a call. I'll answer all your questions.
Okay, now Bob, people are listening on the radio right now, so let's give them a phone number or anything you want.
All right, my personal phone number is 716-338-5051. We have a website at jamestowntrolley.org.
Okay. So, and then there's an email address?
Park2@netslink.net. Okay. Park2, the P-A-R-K, take a walk to the park, number 2.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, believe it or not, we're just about out of time. Quentin, anything you want to say?
Not at this point. I don't want to be the guy that wraps it up.
Okay, Bob, wrap it up.
Well, hey, we need your help. And, this is the last trolley in Chautauqua County, pretty much. And if we're going to save one, this is it. And donate, help out, whatever you want to do. And hope to hear from you.
All right. Folks, that's a part of our history here throughout Chautauqua County. And as you know, I love history as well. And so have a look, get on their website, throw them some bucks if you can. And we're going to do this all again next week. So have a great weekend, stay warm. And guys, congratulations on a really cool project.
Thank you very much.
I'll have to come down and see it sometime. All right. Justin, thanks for your help. And everybody be safe. See you next time. Bye-bye.